Hi there, this is Art and Such with my Rainbow Loom tutorial for the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. This is an intermediate project and you have a lot of options as we go. We're going to dive right in, but before we do, I'll tell you what you're going to be needing, which is a hook and a holding hook if you choose to have one. Your loom in the offset configuration. You'll need a couple of bands of white here. I think I've got 3 altogether on the mouth. A couple of black bands. For the eyes and the nose, you can use beads or you can use bands, and if you're using beads, you might want to have a Sharpie on hand. And for the rest of the body, you want some combination of pinks and purples. You can see these are the colors that I chose. The ideal would probably be something like a pink skin tone with this richer pink. Unfortunately, I don't have enough of these to make it go of it this time, but when I get more, I might try it again. Or if you have a kind of a maroon pink and a lighter pink, that would also be ideal. But work with what you have. If you have only 2 shades of purple, you can go with that. You just want to make sure that there's some difference between them so you can see those stripes. Okay, let's start with the paws, the arms. Now I'll show you the way that I made the fingers, but I'll give you another option as well. So let me show you the other option first, because I think that's what I'm going to do here. So option 1, you take about 3 bands, 2 or 3 bands, put them on the end of your hook, twist and wrap, and then you're going to pull that onto a doubled over single band. So stretch, twist, put it back over, nice and tight, and bring it through. That's one way to start the hand. I'm going to show you the other in case you want to have something that looks more like fingers, but I'm going to ultimately be doing both of mine just with the wrapped because I think it looks pretty comparable. If you want this to look more like fingers, then you're going to take a single band, twist it on the hook, 1, 2, 3, take another, and then put it on a doubled over single. Replace, and then you'll do that a second time. One, 2, 3, put it onto a doubled over single, replace, and then you would put both of these together onto a doubled over single. So that's what to do if you want it to look more like fingers. Once you've got the first part of your paw, we're going to have, let's see here, we'll do this the same as before. Okay, we're going to take a single pink, wrap it on the end, 1, 2, 3, and there are 2 sides on the one you already have placed on. We want this to sit between them, so you're going to lift the side that's closer to the end and bring that newly wrapped band into the middle. And that's going to transition it into the rest of the arm a little bit more nicely. But as I said, this looks pretty similar to the other paw, the other hand, and it works just as well. Okay, let's do, sorry, my size here. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, now we're going to grab 2 purples, hold them together, put them on the end of the hook, and pull all of your pinks on. Keep it in the same order as best you can, and put the other end of those purples back onto the hook. And then we need 2 pinks together. Put it on the end, slide it through, replace. And 3 purples. If you are saving bands or this seems too challenging, you can keep 2. The 3 will make it a little bit broader towards the top of the arm. And if you want it to be even wider, you could theoretically do 4. And for the last set, the pink, I'm going to do 4 of those. So this is one arm at the ready. You can leave it on this hook or put it on a separate piece on a holding hook. That's up to you. I'm going to just slide it down out of my way and make another of these. So sticking with that first method, 2 bands wrapped, 1, 2, 3. You can use 3 bands if you want it thicker. Put it onto a doubled over single. And we want that next one wrapped in the middle. I'm just putting it directly on this time, but that amounts to the same thing. And then 2 purples. 2 pinks. 3 purples. And 4 pinks. Now, if you think that you'd like to have paws or legs coming off on the bottom, you can make 2 more of these and then come back when you're ready. But you don't have to have them. We're going to make our tail next, so that's ready. And let me grab the pattern here. Okay, for our tail, we're going to take 2 pink bands together and we're going to count up to the 5th peg from the bottom and come down to the 4th peg from the bottom with those 2 bands. And then we're going to come down, trying to see what I've done here. Okay, it looks like, oh, that's why it looks a different shade there, because now we're going to switch to purple and then pink and then pink. 2 bands on each of those sets until you get to the bottom here. Hold on, I feel like we should have more on that bottom peg, but oh no, I did write it down. What did I do here? That should be thicker. No, maybe it's not. Okay, 2 pink. And we're going to repeat this starting in the middle row from the, again, the 5th one up from the bottom. See, I didn't write down what I did here, just where I put my holding bands. I think if you, I guess if you wanted that bottom set to be a little bit thicker, no, I don't think we need to. Okay, so we'll keep it at 2 bands only. I think when we loop this up, it should thicken itself because of where we're going to join this along the bottom. Okay, and 2 bands from the bottom row to the bottom row on that middle inside pegs. And for our holding bands, take a single pink or purple, stretch, twist, double it over, bring it across the 4th pegs from the bottom where your purple starts. And we're going to take 1 pink and stretch it across the next 4. So that's the 2nd and 3rd from the bottom on either row. It's going to make a square around those. And then, yeah, this is right. Okay. And then we're going to take a single pink, go to the bottom side or corner, press down a little bit and twist that on. 1, 2, 3, 4 if you can get it that tight, 5 if you can and want to get it a little bit tighter. And I think we should be ready to loop this up now. So this is what we have. What we're going to do is get under this capping band, and we're going to be reaching for these bands, and we're going to be bringing it back through. So I'm coming from the top, I'm pressing back that wrapped band, I'm grabbing those bottom, or those next 2, and I'm bringing them over to the side. You can always, and then I'm reaching in again for the bottoms and bringing those straight up. You can always turn your loom to a different angle, or use your hook or finger to pull the bounds to the side if you're having a hard time getting a hold. Now we're going to reach in on that center one, find the bottom two and bring them forward. Reach in to the next, bring it forward, continue to loop up until you're at the top of that middle section, and repeat that on the side. So we looped up that first one, now we need to go to the second peg up, loop forward, and make sure those both go around, get your purple. When you go on to the next one, just make sure you're pushing back that holding band and bringing it forward. Now you can ease off some of the pegs, and when you're ready, you'll put your hook down through the top side ones that you did, and then through the middle top ones. Okay, there. Yeah, that's how I remember it. We're all good. Okay, so you should have something a little bit like this, or a lot like this. And then we're going to get 3 purples. Put them on the end of the hook, and slide all of our pinks over, and replace. And 2 pinks. And 2 purples. No, 2 purples. Yeah. I can't read my own writing. Well, I won't say sometimes, I'll say a lot of the time. Now, if this is the length it is right now, if you feel like you'd like it to be a little bit longer, you can always add in a couple more sets of double bands. I think this is a decent enough length. And another thing is, this is attaching right at the back middle. So if you wanted it to be a little longer without adding bands, you could attach it more to the side when we put it on, and then it would sit just a little further up. Okay, let's see what's next here. We're going to go to our loom, and I think we're ready to do the ears. For the ears, we're taking 2 purple bands, and we're going to wrap them together once, twice, 3 times, and take a single purple. Actually, let me just, okay, we'll do this and then I'll just show you what this looks like, and you can decide. You might not want the ears at all, or you might want to do them differently, but I'll show you what they look like. And then take that doubled over single, bring it over. Okay, so these are the ears up here. They are a little bit subtle. You probably could get away without them if you choose to, but yeah. Oh, do you know what else I meant to mention? And I'm sorry for not getting to this sooner. Because it's the Cheshire Cat, if you decide that you only want the head, then you can undo your arms and your tail and not do that part. But I think he looks a little bit funny as just the head. Okay, so for the ears, I'll show you how to make it. It's going to be going right up top. That was one, and here's the second one. So again, we'll take 2 bands, wrap them onto the hook. Now I said 2 and I did 2, but you could probably get away with wrapping only 1. These are going to be kind of thick here. That's okay. And then there are probably a couple of different ways to attach it, but I decided I wanted mine to sit right together in the middle as it does in the picture and not have it drifting to either side. So with that in mind, I'm going to put them onto the same doubled over single band. Replace the other end, and we're going to put this onto the top center peg. So these are your ears. As I said, you might have another method you prefer, that's fine. When you put this on, it's gonna sit vertically, one on top of the other instead of sideways. Don't worry too much about that. It'll get adjusted a little bit when we're looping. I believe we are ready to start on the face, so let me get my picture for that ready. And make sure my screen doesn't shut off here. I find, and this might be a good tip here, when I'm designing a project, I like to take a picture of the steps on the loom, so even if I'm writing notes, it's very clear and easy to see what it is that I did. Okay, 2 purples, top center to the top right, and repeat in the other direction. And we're going to come down on each of the rows with 1 set of double purples. And in the middle, we'll do 1 more set of double purples, and then I'll put this up for you. So all purple so far. And then I'm going to switch to pink for 3 sets of double bands going down in the middle. So starting at the 3rd one, we're going to come down once, twice, and 3 times. Actually, I should give you another option here. It might require getting another loom or taking these off, but one thing I did find is my body ended up being a little bit squat, and that's because I kind of ran out of room on the loom as I loomed the body and the head together. If you want the body to be a little bit longer, you do have the option of jumping ahead in the video, making the whole body, taking that off of a loom or using an extended loom, and then adding that onto the head. That will present some challenges in moving the pieces, but it's something you can do if you'd like the body to be longer. Does that make sense? Like, we're gonna have this many pegs to work on, but if you wanted to make the whole body with a couple of extra pegs, take that off, and then come back in the video with me, make the head, you could add on the body at the neck place then. But it means keeping track. Like, this is kind of easier, and I'm happy enough with the body I got for my figure. So I'm gonna keep going this way. I think he's kind of cute with it being a little bit stubby, but if anything, I think I'd like mine to be a little more round than I would long, but it's something that you can bear in mind and have as an additional option, as I said. On either side, come down with 3 sets of double pinks on the outer rows here. And then we're going to be joining them in the middle with double pink bands from the 5th pegs down to the 6th center pegs. You really want to make sure as you're pushing these down on that 6th center peg that these bands stay in order. This is possibly the hardest part when you come to loop this up, because there are going to be a lot of bands on that peg. Let's do our holding bands. We're going to do a purple single band across the 1st side pegs and the 2nd center peg. We're going to skip the next one for the moment and then use a pink one across the, what do I have here? The 3rd pegs down. 2, 3, I think looks right there. 3, yep. And then below we're going to make a diamond over the 4th and 5th center pegs and the 4th side peg. Okay, let's do the side chains for the body. How did I do? I'm trying to remember how I did this one part here. Oh, I remember. Okay. Oh, and I did forget one thing you're going to need, which is scissors. And, well, okay, we'll come back to that one at a time. Okay, side chains for the face. That's neat. These guys here. Oh, I can't see on there very well, can you? Hold on. I'm just going to show you on the thing because it's not showing on the, not going to show on the picture there. It keeps flipping on me. The side chains are what's going to make this kind of round here. So for those, without further ado, we need a single pink wrapped once, twice, and it's going to go on to 2 sets of 4 sets of double pinks. So 2 pink, put it on the end, slide over, replace, and we'll repeat that 3 more times. 2 pink, over, replace, 2 pink, over replace, and one more to make a set of a chain of 4. And then we're going to do 2 purple bands. Okay, so this is what we have here. You're going to come to the side of your loom, go to the 5th peg down on the side, and you're going to get the piece at the bottom of that chain, that little circle you'll find. I'll show you that here. So if you look at the bottom, you'll see 3 lines of band. If you turn it sideways and pull down, it'll make a little circle, and that's what you want to put on here. And the bands that are on your hook at the top, we want those to go onto the top peg on the side, and press them all over. So it's sitting, my camera tilted, that's why, sitting on the side. And then what we want to do is go into that first pink chain, grab 1 piece of the band, bring it over the 2nd peg from the top, do that again on the next one, and if you can get them all from that inside part and not from out here, that's good. It'll keep things from twisting. And we're going to take the next one and bring it under, and that last chain on the bit of chain on the bottom, we're not going to attach that anywhere. And the idea is that that will then pop up, like press out to the side. It'll make it a little bit thicker down there because there's an extra set of bands sitting in that direction. You could play around with those numbers and placements if you want to adjust the shape a little bit, but this seemed to work for me pretty well. Okay, we'll do the same on the other side, single wrapped twice, put it onto 4 sets of double bands in pink, and then 1 set of double band in purple. I keep thinking as I'm looking at my Cheshire Cat here, he makes me think so much of Jabba the Hutt, just in the kind of worm-like way of him. Or if there are any Dune fans out there, I believe there was a kind of worm character who I think came out later in the series, but that's more of what I picture, a sentient, buggy, large-scale worm kind of thing. So that body type will lend itself well, I think, to that, or to a potato sack. It's very lumpy. We needed 2 purples, and we're going to attach this the same way on the, put it on the closer side now. And you really want to make sure you get all those bands on, and we're going to grab 1 piece out of each of the upper chain, or I don't know what to call them, loops, bands, sections, and leave that bottom one, the bottommost one, unattached. Okay, our face is almost ready to go except for the eyes and oh, I did put those on first. Okay, except for the eyes and the nose, so we'll do those now. If you are using a bead, I'll show you really quickly how you would, 2 ways to put those on. If your bead has, oh, this one, no, too small. If your bead has a large hole, if you're using like a yellow pony bead and you do want your bead to be yellow for the eyes, put your hook through. You would put it through both of your eyes together. I know these aren't yellow, I'm just demonstrating the method. And you can put your pink band, purple, I think we used purple, your purple band on the end and slide it over, and then you could attach them. If you are using, and the same for the nose, if you're using a bead with a slimmer hole, you can take a piece of dental floss, and we'll get the other end here, run it through the bead, and you'd put both of your eyepieces on there, put it through the band, and I'm using dental floss here, and then you'll come over the band and back through the bead. And slide it until both of your eyes are on, and then you can attach. So those are a couple of ways you can attach if you're using beads. If you were using bands, which is what I'm going to do this time, let's grab a couple of yellows. I'm going to take a yellow, wrap it 1, 2, 3, take a black band, wrap it 1, 2, 3, and we're going to separate that yellow so that some of it comes over and the black sits in the middle, like so. As I said, there are a variety of ways you could do this. You could even take a blank bead or sew a button on, or do something like glue on a googly eye after. Like, it's really pretty open. But if you're doing it this method, again, I'll wrap my yellow 3 times. I need a different black here. That one's too stretchy. Wrap your black 3 times and bring the yellow over so that your black sits in the middle. I happen to think, like, I personally think that the beads look a lot classier. Although in this lighting, these ones are kind of dim to see, but this is going to be option 2. So that's what we're going to do. And whatever kind of beads you are, or sorry, eyes you're making, we now want to put them onto a single purple band. If you're using the bands, it's really important to keep your eyes coming through in the right order. And just as I say that, my black is stuck right at the end. Okay, there we are. And we're going to stretch that from the second peg down to the second peg down on the opposite side. If you want, you can take off those chains for a minute and put it underneath, which I think is what I'm going to do. So I'll just hold this here for a second, take the chain off, put the eye on, put the chain back on. It doesn't matter terribly, but it's just a personal preference of mine. I think that's what I would prefer to do. Yeah, definitely nicer with the beads, but as I said, I wanted to show you some options, and didn't want to go hunting for beads and color them, and I'm being lazy if we're going to be honest. So this is what it is. If you are using the bands, we're going to try and separate them a little bit. Make sure those black pieces are still showing in the middle. For your nose, same thing. If you're using a bead, get it onto a pink band. I don't think we need to double it over. And if you're using bands, I think I'll use... what do you think? Should we use different purple or the same purple? I think I'm gonna stay with my same purple here. So you can decide how thick you want it to be. If you just want it to be a little nub of a nose, you can wrap 1 band. If you want it to be thicker, you can wrap 2. If you want thicker, you can wrap 3. I'm just gonna do 1 and see how this comes out. So I'm gonna wrap it about 4 times and put it onto a doubled over single. Now if you wrapped 2 together, it would be about twice as big, and that would be a slightly larger nose. Okay, and we're going to put this onto a single pink. And once you have your nose ready, this will go across in the same eye that has, the same peg that has the eyes. And this time I'll just put it over on top. And I think for the, I could just sit where it is right now. It looks funny at the moment. There's my nose, but we are going to take care of all that. Okay, just a quick note in case you're wondering, this, and this are all added after we take this off the loom, so I'm not forgetting it. We're just putting it aside for the moment. Okay, we can start on the body. Go to the 6th peg down, take 2 pinks, go to the 6th peg down on the side. Get my yellows out of the way. We're going to repeat this on the opposite side. And we're going to be going to the bottom of the loom, but we're going to be switching out our colors. So we should have, purple, and then pink, and then purple, and then pink, and then purple, and then pink. And yeah, that ought to do it. Oh, so actually we're going to start with pink to match, to transition down here. So two bands of pink on each of the rows. Oh, and I told you, I warned you this, and then I'm forgetting it myself. That 6th peg down, we want to layer it carefully so that we can find these bands with more ease later. So that should be right on top there. It's going to get a little bit busy in that section of the loom. Now we're going to switch to purple, 2 bands on each row. And then pink, purple, till we get to the bottom. Tell you, I've been struggling lately to find, well, to get going with Rainbow Loom. I feel like a lot of characters have been, like a lot of things have been made, and the things that haven't, that I'm interested in trying or have been asked to try, have been very challenging to, like very difficult to find a way to make. Okay. This was kind of a random idea that I like to look patterns up before I start to see if they've been done really well. Okay, pink from the bottom to the bottom side to bottom middle, repeat on the other side. And I forgot to add something in here. Actually a couple things, but that's okay. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, so sorry I haven't been getting more of these out. It's just a lot going on here. Now for the tail, I'm going to attach it here in the middle around that 2nd and 3rd peg from the bottom. If you want to try attaching it over on the side, you can do that. For me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up that purple band, and if you want you can take the whole band off, and I'm going to slide my tail onto there, and then we'll put this right back where it came from. You can just push that tail piece down out of the way for now. The arms are going to be going onto the 6th pegs down. These are like your shoulder pegs right under where the face ended. There's that gap, and then you'll put your arms on. If you're doing legs, you probably want to put them on the bottom side pegs. You can see how you like them there. I suppose you could put it up the 2nd from the bottom, but I feel like then it would be kind of sticking out the side here. So up to you. Okay, other side. I'm excited, we're getting close to loom and up time, and then we will be close to finishing off time. And we should need just one more thing. Right, I forgot, I tried to do the teeth a different way and didn't like it. Okay, one more thing on the loom, single pink, put it on the bottom middle, press everything down a little bit, and we're going to cap this off. So twist, twist, twist 5 times if you can. If that's too tight, do it with 4. And I know if sometimes certain kinds of bands are going to snap, or your loom, you might have problems with your loom. So just work with what you can. We're going to be pushing back that cap, getting these 2 bands and bringing them back to the side. So scoop them up and over, go back in. We're going to get the next 2 diagonal ones that are coming from the bottom closer side, bring those over, and go back in for the bottom center. Now, okay, I'm going to loop up the sides next. So, oh, unbelievable. Can you believe we did that? We didn't put on any holding bands. Oops. Okay, you can use purple or pink. We'll do this quickly. Go to the 7th pegs down. So right under the arm triangle triangle. You can alternate pink and purple, it's up to you. And again, again, and again. And I'm gonna have to lift this up for just a second to put one on here. So, sorry. Good thing I caught that. What these do here is they keep all of your pieces from separating. It holds it all together. Okay, so triangle bands, and I just lifted this piece up again to place that. Now we can go up the side. And we want to grab this row of double bands. So we'll start with that bottom double pink, and my watch just fell off, great. Put your hook in, open part facing up and away from you, push back, grab the two, and bring it around and onto the next peg. And you're going to repeat that until you get to the arms. So push back the holding bands, those triangles we just put on, and loop up and up. You can always pause if you need an extra minute here. When you get to the arm, we want to get a hold of these two diagonal ones. So what we'll do is push back everything else, and you might want to wiggle this out first so you can see it. Get a hold of those. Carefully bring them over and onto that center peg. And we can loom up the opposite side. Same thing. Push back your holding bands, reach for the bottom two. You can always turn this around if you need a better view. If you are finding there's some tension on your loom, then you can release the bottommost bands here. Like you can take those ones off. I wouldn't take too much more off though because we haven't secured the center. Okay, and inwards, and then we're coming back to the middle row. We'll go to that second peg from the bottom, loop up the two purples, and over, loop up your two pinks, and over. And again, if you feel like you want or need to let some of these bands off of the pegs as you go, that will reduce the tension on the loom. We're going to keep looping until we get to that center peg. And this, I'm so sorry, this is the hard part, and I will do my best to stay in camera for this, but this part's always a little tricky to do because we've got like 20 layers of bands here and they're all the same color. I'm looking, I don't know how well you can see this here, but as I'm looking, I see there's this layer, then there's this layer, and these bands here are sitting on top. So these are the ones that I want to get. They're just above the other two. So what I'm going to have to do is get a hold of these. I'm going to stretch them a little bit so I can see them. And then I'm going to turn this around, push out the bands until I can get to that, and try to carefully scoop it in and up. Oh, I got one of them. And this was coming from the side closest to me because that's the side that's on that's highest up in the levels of bands. So I got one of them. Now I have to stretch this out again, find the other one. The good news is once you get going on this section, everything else should become easier to find after. It's just getting those first two can be a real pain. And I'm not having much luck today here. There, I think that looks like it. Okay, so you can see I've got that straight oval kind of shape. These haven't been moved, these haven't been moved. We should be good. Next, let me just check these feel tight. So I've got the right ones. So now I've got to get the ones that are coming from the right side. I'm going to reach in again. I'm going to grab these again, or I'm going to grab these so they sort of stand out and it's easier to find. It's very tight under here, but we're going to bring those around. Now this might take a couple of tries, so please be patient. Don't be too rough on your bands. Go back in for the bottom two. And really make sure you get the right ones because it'll make a difference in how it looks. And if you get the wrong ones, it's not going to stay together and then you're going to be all kinds of mad at me. So definitely take your time on that. And once you're here, we're going to push back that diagonal on the 5th peg down in the center, grab the 2 bands and bring them forward, grab the 2 bands and bring them forward, bring your nose down over or under that 3rd peg, reach under the nose for your 2 purples, bring them up and over between the eyes, push back, loop up to the top center. And we have just the 2 sides to do. So there's a bottom layer of double bands. That's what we need to be getting. Go to the 5th peg down, push back everything but the bottom 2. Scoop up your bottom 2. Bring them over and forward. Push back everything but the bottom 2. Over and forward. Everything but the bottom 2. Once more, you really want to be careful that you're getting the right bands, and if you see something slipping, the sooner you catch it the better, because you might be able to backtrack or to even catch it and sort of weave it in before it's gone. At the top side, I'm going to get the bottom 2 and bring them back to the top. And I'm actually going to bring this behind, over and behind the ears. That's one thing you can do to make it sit more like facing the right way a little bit better to shape it. We're going to go to the other side and bottom 2 bands, bring them forward. I only got 1 there. Try that again. And we'll loop our way up to the top. And again, I only got 1. I'm not sure if that's the right one. So I need to go to the side, which is a little upside down here, sorry. Pull that out, make sure that that's the one I want. And there we are. And continue up, 2 purples to the top, and okay, so I've looped up the side. Now I'm going to go in again for the bottom 2, bring those to the middle and over the earpiece. Now you can take 1, or if you are worried about it breaking, you can take 2 bands. Get it ready on your less dominant hand here, my left hand in this case. And I'm going to put my hook through all of the bands on the top center. Grab this purple band on the hook, turn the open part away from me and pull this up through. Then I'll put the other side on and bring the first side over the end of the hook, and this will create a knot. And then we can very carefully, this is going to be a bit of a pain to do, but very carefully unhook all of this from the loom. I'm hoping my eyes keep their shape. I haven't worked with eye bands in a while. They can be a little unpredictable, but usually they're okay. Ideally, if you want to take care of your bands in your loom, you want to be working from the outside of your loom inwards and moving downwards while you're removing. But I do know there are times when I've worked with a loom that's just coming right apart, and then in that case you take off the bands wherever you need to make it easiest on yourself. Almost. Here we go. Okay, so right now he doesn't look like much. You can't see the eyes or anything. I'm going to take my band and actually, if you want, just put that band on a C-clip for now and get it out of your way. Your beads or your eyes, you want to pop those through. You want to kind of position them wherever you want them to be. And once your eyes and nose are out, then you can turn to the back, put your hook under a couple of bands and bring that securing band under, and then secure it with a C-clip. You will need a couple of those. Forgot to mention, but you probably figured you might. Yeah, I definitely like this better with the beads, but same idea. Okay, now we'll do the mouth next. So take 2 white bands and stretch them out. And you want to reach through the side. Doesn't matter exactly where you go, but you do want to find about the same spot on the other side. You're going to grab the end of the whites and pull it to the back. And I'm going to put a pink band on. So this part's always hard to show. Okay, so here I am at the back. I pulled the white through. I'm going to put this pink on and slide it under the white. Sorry, I have to turn this upside down again, or sideways. Put the other end on. Put one end over the other. And for the moment, I'm going to put that on the C-clip. And that's going to keep my white bands from disappearing. And then I'm still holding on to these whites, but you could put it onto a C-clip or a holding hook if you want. I'm going to reach through on the opposite side at about the same place. Grab the whites, pull them to the back. And I lost one there. Hold those for a second. And then you can use the same pink band or a different band to secure them. So I'm going to see if that pink band will stretch through comfortably. Yeah. So I took it off. This is the back you're looking at. I took that pink band off of the C-clip. I'm going to reach for it. I'm going to pull it through. You're going to see if that's whether that's too tight. It's not too bad. Maybe not ideal, but not too bad. And we'll put that onto the C-clip again. I'll show you this as it's coming together here. Just hold on. Okay, so let's stretch that white back over. Bring that pink knot back through. Now you can see it's just showing up as a straight white line. What we want to do is bring it down into a smile, more like that. So to do that, you take a white band. You're going to reach under the white. Take your white band and bring it under. Put the other end on, and now you can kind of control where it goes. So it's slipping off here. Take one side of the white, bring it over the end. So we made a little knot over it. And you're going to hold on to that and grab it from the back with the hook. And we'll grab it from a little bit lower. So I brought my hook from the back to the front through the face. Again, if you're really struggling with this, I don't know of an easier way to do this, but okay, so there we go. So it's kind of positioned it. Looks a little bit like a pig with the band eyes, I think. Okay, so there you go for the smile. I'm trying to think like another easy way. You could make a chain of doubled over bands, like where you would go. I'll show you a couple of ways here. So single and then put it on a doubled over. This is if you're really struggling with that, because I know it's a little bit hard. And a doubled over, you could do this all the way across and then attach it on the face like that. That's another option. It will be a little bit thicker though. Or if you've ever done one of the hippo patterns, there's another method for making teeth where you do a figure 8 over 2 of your pegs and come back over and then bring the bottom over the top and the bottom over the top. You could do this to make little teeth. I tried something like this originally. I felt like it didn't work so well, but that's again another way you could approach the mouth if you're struggling to get it to fit in there. Hopefully it wasn't so bad for you to do though, and we're ready for the next part. Okay, so this is what we've got. We're gonna do the eyebrows. Eyebrows are, I think, a little bit easier here. Take a single block. You're gonna reach in slightly above into the side of the eye with your hook. Bring that black to the back. Put it on a C-clip if you need, or out of the way. Reach in again, kind of between the eyes. Grab the other side of this, bring it back through. And that can go onto a C-clip, and you're going to repeat that on the other side. Again, you could also put them onto a band there. For the whiskers, you actually have two best options here. If you have a wire, a black wire, like something you get out of a packaging container, you can simply stick that like right through and leave a part of it pressing out. That will hold its form. It will probably be less likely to come out, and yeah, so that's one option. What I did here, I'm not entirely happy with this, but I think it's okay. I took, I think it was just 2 bands here, so 1 for each side. So all I did for mine is I reached through the face, just under the nose. I put a black band on my hook, I pulled it to the back, I secured it on a C-clip or another band, and once it was secure, I tried to angle it a little bit, and I used scissors to cut it short. The problem with this, which you'll see here, is that it kind of goes whichever direction it wants to, and these ones pop right out. They also could slide out, but with bands, that's still one way to do it. The other way, you can do this in a similar way to how I'm gonna show you the little furry top part. So for that, and I didn't write down how many of these I used. I think it was 3 or 4. You're gonna take, I think it was 3. Oh, you know what, I'm pretty sure I took a picture to show myself that step. Yes, I did, perfect. Okay, let's see if we can get you that. So this is kind of what we're gonna look for. We're gonna have 3 purples, and we're gonna put up another purple on the end, bring our 3 on top, replace, one end over the other, pull it as tight as you possibly can. So you could do this with your 1 black mustache piece too, instead of the 3 just on the 1. And then, oh, that's our finished one. So I made 2 of these, and then I put both of them, pulled both of them through, right under the earpiece, secured them, and just cut them at the top, and that will give you this fluffy effect here. Okay, I think we've covered everything. Maybe I'll give you one more little bonus here. If you want to pose him, so that maybe the tail's standing up more or the hands are by the face, what you would do to pose is, okay, so let's say, for example, I wanted my tail to stand up more, and then I would go to the back, take a piece out of the tail, right at the edge, take a piece out of the body, slide the body piece under, and then you could put a C-clip on. And what that will do is, there you go. Or if you wanted the tail to be sitting right up at the arm, you could attach the tail to the arm. I feel like that would look a little awkward, but 1 piece from the tail, 1 from the arm, pull it under, and there you go, they're stuck together. Okay, so I'm gonna take off, I'm gonna give him 1 more eyebrow. No, you know what, you know how to do this. I think we're okay. You can kind of give the body a little bit of a stretch. If you feel like it's still really too thin, you could put, you know what, I feel like we didn't do an added chain on the side, that's why. You could like knit in an extra, or crochet in a chain on the side there. If you decide to make the skin and you want to do a side chain, I'm so sorry I didn't get that in for you. I'll make a note in the comments below, and hopefully we'll get to see that. But yeah, so that's our Cheshire Cat. He's kind of cute. As I said, he works better with the beads, but that's the gist of it. So thank you for watching. Be sure to check out my other videos and let me know how yours come out. Take care. Thanks for watching.